Dr. Joe Schwarz is going to join us right now. He, of course, is the host of the Dr. Joe Show here on CJAD. That, of course, is Sundays at 3, and director of the McGill Office for Science and Society. And Dr. Joe, I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because the first headline is Wellness Influencers. So I'm guessing there are thousands of them. They seem to be, at least on social media, there's like a new one every other day.
There are. And, this is a term that it's relatively novel, although, of course, people who have tried to influence wellness and health have, been around time immemorial. But today it's become a profession on social media. And these people who basically, promote the pursuit of optimal health and vitality, there's nothing wrong with that. But the money that they make is absolutely amazing. I just came across that. Michelle Lewin, who I had not heard of before, actually, but she turns out to be a Venezuelan fitness guru. She has 16.2 million followers,
Wow.
and she makes $42,400 per post. Can you imagine that? Every time that she posts something on the internet, she makes $42,000. Others are in the same category, $21,000, $20,000, which is just amazing. Now, of course, the question is, do these people really deserve that kind of money? Well, these wellness influencers are easily divided into categories. The fitness ones, who mostly promote just exercise, generally are pretty good scientifically. But the ones that then start to produce food, promote foods and supplements of all kinds, that's a different story. And that is very lucrative. Gwyneth Paltrow, of course, is a classic example. Gwyneth was a very good actress, if you remember seeing her in Shakespeare in Love. Right?
Sideways.
She was good. And then she decided that she would go the health route. And all of a sudden, oregano oil wards off colds, magnesium pills ensure sleep. You should be spraying your body with colloidal silver to stave off germs. You should be eating daikon, which is a type of Japanese radish, for stomach aches. And then she tells us other ingenious things about gluten. She says, every single nutritionist, doctor, and health-conscious person I've ever come across seems to concur that gluten is tough on the system, and many of us are at best intolerant of it and worse, allergic to it. Total nonsense. People who have celiac disease, of course, have to be very careful with gluten, but it is not an allergen, and most people are not intolerant of it. But, she's very charming, and she's a pretty woman, and she gets a lot of media attention. And then we have people like Anthony William. You ever heard of him? He's the medical medium. He has written New York Times bestsellers books. He has a radio show in Florida in which he answers medical questions. He has no medical degree. He has no scientific degree of any kind. He is essentially scientifically illiterate. How does he get away with doing a show on radio like that? Because he says he has a contact with spirits. And there's a spirit doctor that actually gives him advice. And he just translates the advice that he hears from the spirits to people on the radio. That advice is almost always to drink celery juice. That's apparently what the spirit doctor thinks is the best thing. Now, how does he get away with this and not be accused of practicing medicine without a license? Because the advice isn't coming from him.
It's coming from the spirit, I see. Uh-huh.
Isn't that quite unbelievable?
Although, truth be told, there's nothing wrong with drinking celery juice.
Nothing wrong with drinking celery juice. Interesting enough, celery juice is used as an additive in hot dogs and ham because people are so concerned about nitrates as additives in those processed meats because they've heard that the nitrates convert to nitrosamines in their system, and that's a carcinogen. It's a legitimate concern. But celery juice is actually high in nitrates, naturally occurring, which is why they use it in hot dogs. And even the hot dog can then declare no nitrates added, because they're not adding nitrates, they're adding celery juice that contains nitrates.
Okay. Although you're supposed to say, but you'd be just as good or better off eating the celery instead of just drinking the celery juice.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, this celery is fine as a vegetable. Eat it if you like it. Juice it if you like it. But
it's unlikely to change your life.
Your disease.
Okay.
Another one that I've come across, which is a very interesting one, is Jordan Younger. She was very popular as the blonde vegan. She promoted a gluten-free, sugar-free, oil-free, grain-free, legume-free, dairy-free diet. She sold blueberry cocktails in order to cleanse your body, as a body cleanse. And then, believe it or not, she got sick from being on such a diet. Mm-hmm. She wasn't getting enough protein in her diet. And then she revealed how she got sick, and she ditched this vegan diet. Oh. And she then began to promote a much more balanced diet. And believe it or not, she got all kinds of complaints from people who had been her followers as a promoter of vegan diet, claiming that she had sold out. And there were death threats against her because she had given up
blueberries.
And then she has reinvented herself now as the balanced blonde. So now she promotes a pretty balanced diet, but she has also discovered that she has psychic abilities. And she now promotes herself as a psychic and a healer and a light worker, whatever that may be. And a visionary.
Does she hear from a spirit as well, or is that the other guy's shtick?
That's the other guy's shtick. I'm not sure. I mean, if she says that she's got psychic talent,
right?
Maybe that involves, the same kind of nonsense. And then there were sisters in England, the Hemsley sisters, who were very, very big because they promoted an astrologically farmed vegetable diet. Bone broth, agave nectar, no dairy, no gluten, and no protein and carbohydrate eaten together. They were doing very well, but they are no longer together. I think they split because now they have different ideas on what wellness promoter should be doing.
Okay.
And, this brings up a notion of orthorexia. Which we are now seeing. Orthorexia is the obsessive behavior in pursuit of a healthy diet. And, of course, we're all looking for healthy diets. And we know that, the diets that are mostly plant-based are the healthiest diets. But there are people who take this to an extreme and, worry about, whether or not there may be somehow some animal product that has gotten into their diet that is acting like a poison. We know that diet is important. I mean, there's no question. We are what we eat, right? Food is the only thing that goes into our body. So we are made of food. But some people do just develop this obsessive attention to every morsel that they eat. And that's called orthorexia.
Okay. Joe, we got to leave it there. This is fascinating. And maybe next week when we do this or whenever we do it next, I want to ask you something that I remember from 20 years ago, just as you were talking now. Remember a book called The Zone Diet?
Oh, sure.
Great. We can talk about that next because I want to know what you think about that. Dr. Joe Schwarz, thank you so much. Appreciate it.